Hey folks, it's David, back again with another video. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're wondering what all this is about tonight, it just so happens that I'm here at my job. I just finished my driving for the day. Went up to, where did I go? Can't remember the place. Just west of Birmingham, Alabama, and it was Oxford, Alabama, at least in the address. And then on to Bryant, Alabama. Picked up, and now I'll be delivering this to Saraland. I'm here at the drop yard in Mobile, Alabama, and I've been so sick that I wasn't able to start driving until yesterday. I wasn't able to get to do this review that I'm going to do now because I have such limited time and really such just don't really have a good opportunity to make a nice, thoughtful review. I'm so busy with this job and things that keep going on, but I'm determined to get it done now, and so this is one movie that I believe deserves it, and I really appreciate this opportunity with this quiet and how eerie it is out here, because the way this movie ended, it is just that. It's a thoughtful thing, at least for me. The way this film ended for me was it just got me thinking, and it put me into a mental space where I just wanted to be more circumspect and more appreciative and more thoughtful about things. So I'm going to take this opportunity to have some nice peace and quiet to talk about it for just a few minutes and say how much I appreciated the film. I saw Warfare over at, I just so happened to have my ticket stuffed in the same pants. I got them out back there. Oh, good old Hattiesburg, Mississippi, the Grand, become my new favorite place. Saw the 7 p.m. showing. I know you can't see this, but I always hold that up to the camera like so, even though you can't see it. I appreciated this movie very much, and I was hesitant to even give it a try because it's A24, and they'll burn you very quickly with the weird direction that they take in movies, and I haven't even seen a lot of A24 movies. Just the one that I did have my hopes up for, not realizing that it was A24, The Green Knight. Oh, yeah, that video review's coming one day. I'm going to get that done for sure. Oh, man. So there was that, but then again, I just thought about what I saw in the trailer for Warfare, and well, there was just something so straightforward about it that I appreciated. So I thought, you know what, there aren't that many movies like this coming out, and do I really want to watch any more war movies? If this is like a Black Hawk Down, I'm going to end up feeling like I just left a funeral for sure if I go see this. But I remember how much I appreciated, for instance, Lone Survivor with Mark Wahlberg. Maybe my favorite Mark Wahlberg movie so far, because I don't usually love stuff that he's in. I don't hate it either. Nothing against the man. It's just, hit and miss. You like what you like. So I was just kind of taking a chance on this one. The only person who I could recognize from the trailer that I've seen was the one actor, Joseph Quinn, who I remember seeing him in A Quiet Place, Day One. And I appreciated his character in that, how he played a character who helped a woman kind of come back from the brink of her own personal suffering amidst a very harrowing ordeal in that movie. But that's that movie. Let's talk about this one. So like I said, a little bit hesitant going in, but I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go see it, just to go see it. See what's up. See what it's like. It's obviously just going to be some good war action surrounding something that happened in the Iraq War, Ramadi 2006, and I kid you not, the first scene of the movie was it's a screen-on-screen deal where it's like you're watching. It's like somebody's watching a screen, and it was, what was it? The side or the backside of this woman from a music video that came out years ago. It's the "Call on Me" song, that crazy uh, song and dance, that music video. Call on me, and the one guy amidst the like dozen or so like good looking aerobics but it's a dance thing. It's so provocative looking and so with suggestive like sexualized movements and gyrations and stuff, and it's hilarious because there's just one guy in it and he's just kind of mimicking the women and just kind of eating it up, and it's funny and it's catchy is the thing. And I remember being in the TLS building, Taliban's last stand in Kandahar Air Base in the autumn of 2006 when I went on my one deployment when I was in the Air Force, and there's a little group of airmen surrounding this desk, and they're watching this crazy video, and I'm like, what in the world are y'all watching? And they're all hollering and laughing at the guy in the video because the guy to them comes off as so funny, and they're all like mimicking the women's emotions and all this stuff. And that's how the movie starts. I kid you not. That's how this movie starts. You pull back and you see who's watching this. It's this whole platoon of Navy SEALs or Marines intermixed. I don't know. I think it was all SEALs, but I'm not 100% sure. That's when I saw Joseph Quinn over there, the one familiar actor. I didn't know anybody else. And I only know him from one movie. So this is all very more obscure. I know the one guy is an up-and-coming actor. I can't even think of his name right now, but that's the thing. I just haven't seen him in anything. He's like a lieutenant in this, but I kid you not. That's how this movie started. See, I'm still sick. With them watching this, and they all start like hooping and hollering and just gassing each other up and doing the war cries, and Joseph Quinn, he's working himself into a frenzy here, almost like he's stroking or whatever, like the guy in the video. If you've seen the music video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's so loud, and they're all just it's like a war dance or something in there, they're almost having a party, and then all quiet, dark. I kid you not, it goes off just like that. The next scene is of a street somewhere in, looks like a Middle Eastern village, a town. It must be Ramadi, at least in the movie. And it just goes quiet so quick. I just thought, it's going to be a different sort of movie. And it is. This movie is a different sort of movie. I keep comparing it to Black Hawk Down, because since I watched the movie the other night, Monday night, and now here it is Thursday night, I just couldn't help but think about how similar it is in this one respect. It's all about one thing in a military operation going wrong, one attack where your men are wounded, and you got to get out, and the whole situation changes when that happens, and how it's about like a fight for survival. After that point, one thing goes wrong, which in Black Hawk Down, I think it was 2 helicopters that went down. This movie about what these Navy SEALs went through trying to support this Marine Corps operation in Ramadi is similar to that, and as much as one thing goes wrong, one thing happens, men are wounded, you got to evac, everything changes, and you got to, the whole group has to contort themselves around this to help their men, to help the wounded, to carry on. But what exactly were they carrying on in? That's something else I like about this movie. All it says at the beginning was this was in support of a Marine Corps operation, and that's it. I guess maybe because it's secret or something, it makes your imagination fire up a little bit. And another thing I like about the movie, and also in the opening, in the very beginning, it says, this film is based on their memories. When that said that on the screen like that, I just thought, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be a good movie. And it was. And at like an hour and 35 minutes, it's not overly long, it's straight to the point. You see things as you watch this movie, just keeping that in mind. This film is based on their memories. One Navy SEAL in particular, he's the Iraq War veteran who like co-directed this movie. I'm sorry, I'm not remembering his name right now, but I might do a few closing thoughts or maybe even add them into the credits of this somehow, just out of respect for him. But you just keep that in mind. This is based on their memories. As you're watching this, so long as you keep that in mind, as you're watching this movie, yeah, this is based off somebody's memory, because so many little things that are in this film, in the lead up to what happens, and after, it's like, why are you even showing me that? It's like, because these are the things that happen. Things like the guy who has so much gear, you're thinking, man, how do you guys do anything with all this stuff on you? It's like 50, 60, 70 pounds of extra stuff. Do you need all that? The guy's trying to carry out his wounded soldier. He gets caught on the door. He's like, oh, I'm stuck. And the other guy has to undo him real quick. Or the way not once but twice, and this I don't want to say his name because I'm gonna get it wrong. It's not Ramirez. No. That's I'll put it in here somehow. I'll get that in here. But not once but twice, when they get relief and more Navy SEALs come into this room after they have their wounded in, after this IED blow up and they got their soldiers in, guys accidentally, I say accidentally, it's like they weren't really watching where they were going. And keep in mind, the wounds sustained by these two soldiers are to their legs. Their legs, this one SEAL's legs is like hamburger. And these other guys come in just huffing and puffing. The guy knocks into his leg and, whoa, man, watch where you're going. Things like that. Several things like that in this movie. Where it's like, that's an interesting thing to just add there. There are other smaller things, but now that I got the camera on me and I got the record button pushed, I can't remember them. I was actually thinking about some of them earlier, but now I can't remember. What I think I'll do is shut this off and go to audio now and just record on my little recorder, because that'll make this easier to upload later anyway. So, pause, time out. All right, folks. Now I'm actually back in my room right now at home, as comfy as can be, and that's not very, in this chair here, because my attempt to go ahead and make an audio to continue this review didn't work out, and now this is my third attempt. So what I'm going to do is just spend a few short minutes just throwing out my basic thoughts and feelings about this film, and call it a day. I just want the world to know how much I appreciated this film, and that's all. I'm looking at IMDb right now, and I just want to say this particular actor, Cosmos Jarvis, he apparently is in the show Shogun that uh, I've not watched, but I just wonder if he's not maybe the guy who I've actually seen in several of the shorts, the promos, and the like. I'm going to click on IMDb right now and see if maybe, just maybe, he's not one of the main actors. Again, I haven't watched that show, but um, John Blackthorne, what is he in that? Yes, that's him. He is. He's he is the guy. So I have seen him somewhere. It wasn't my imagination. For just a moment, or actually for the past couple of days of thinking about this off and on, I thought maybe Hollywood just didn't. Well, actually, not that this is a full-on Hollywood production warfare, because it's not. I thought maybe they just did such a good job on his character, making him look like a rugged, like American soldier with that the little bit of facial hair, little mustache that you can get away with uh, in this in the movie, portraying him. That maybe he just has that look of someone you've just seen before. Maybe you've seen it in a lot of faces of big, like, strong soldier look. But no, I actually have seen this particular actor, so that's very neat. He's been in several things that I have not seen, but now I've seen him in something, and his portrayal of Elliot Miller is gonna. Well, I was gonna say it's gonna stick with me for a while, but this is one of those things you'll never forget if you watch this movie, because the anguish that this man went through, and really, I should have known from the way that they did the movie that from the time you see things kind of focusing in on him a little bit as a sniper staring out this sniper hole, and then how he's watching everybody and how he's monitoring the situation outside of this house in Ramadi, and all the SEALs are just inside of this house now, uh, taking notes, keeping track of what they see, when they saw it, keeping track of any possible threats. Just very quiet, very bored looking circumstances, but it's really anything but, because the war is going on all around them. It's just not flared up right there in that neighborhood at that particular moment. But when it does, I'm going to tell you, something happens in this movie that was just so jarring to me that I thought, what was that? Because the whole thing is they were going to escort a couple of guys out of, or were they? I'm still not clear about that. If they were going to take a couple of these men who lived in this house out of that building, like they had maybe found some potential information, some intel, or that these Iraqi men knew things that would help their operations in the war, if they were who they were looking for. It doesn't really get into that in the movie, and I guess for good reason, and for the same reason that at the end of the film, when you see the real photos of some of the soldiers who were there and the SEALs, that some of their faces are blurred out. It just gives an air of mystery to this whole thing. It was some kind of military operation. That's all you really know, and that's all they're going to tell you. I'm just trying to think if they were trying to escort anybody into that Abrams vehicle when it was time for them to roll up and leave that location. Because first things first, they come under attack out of nowhere when a grenade is thrown. Not even thrown, it's like gently lobbed, like somebody standing outside of the wall had to have done that kind of thing, into where Elliot Miller's sniper position was. And that's when things get kicked off. The grenade and the take cover. You're thinking, oh no, somebody was just blown up in that. But no, they were okay. But everybody's rattled. And for the next 10 minutes of the movie, it seemed like it was just so strange. It was unlike any movie, especially a war movie, I've ever seen. And I hope that this movie takes its place among the great war movies ever made, and that people visit it again from time to time and talk about it for this particular reason, how unique it is. Because remember, keep in mind, this is all based on their memories. You can't forget that part. And so it seems like for the next 10 minutes of the movie, after that initial grenade and some shooting through a wall, and they're all taking cover and ducking down and trying to get into the next room and make sure everybody's okay. Hey, do you have your kit? Do you have your gun on you? Do you have your weapon? Do you have your this, your that? Where's the morphine bag? Where's the medic bag? Where's your sniper kit? Where's the for 10 minutes they're checking on each other and making sure that each other have all of their equipment. I kid you not. And it gets all quiet again. And assuming that part is just as it was in real life, with the shooting died down and they're all just continually checking on each other and checking their six, still inside of the house. It just kind of went on and on for several minutes with nothing else happening. And then they made their move to the Bradley, this big armored vehicle, to roll out of there. And they get in their special little line, little formation, like you're going to go and then you're going to go. And the character played by Joseph Quinn, Sam, he had to get onto these two Iraqi soldiers who were there as the translators, these linguists, Iraqi soldiers who were there assisting them and helping them secure part of the house that they had to
break into through a wall at the start of the film. Very interesting stuff, and it's still not sure exactly what was going on there, but here it is. This is the whole situation right here. When they go outside, and this is what I started to say a moment ago about how jarring it was. There's an explosion right there by the Abrams. Not the Abrams. I keep saying Abrams. By the Bradley fighting vehicle. Not the Abrams, the Bradley. And when that happens, the thing is, this movie is so, it's not monotonous. That's the wrong word. It I can't, I wish I could think of a word. It like lulls you into a sense of complacency, sort of. And the more I think about it, it's like that's deliberate, and it is so creative for a movie to do that. I wasn't expecting anything. I know nothing about this story. I'm watching it unfold on the screen. And so when that IED went off, boom, and the whole world went dark because of that explosion with dust thick above the Bradley and everything got so still. When it first happened, I was like, what in the world was that? I didn't see, because my mind had kind of wandered, and so had my eyes. And I'm like, oh great, I just missed something. I just missed something important here. Where's my mind been? I didn't see anything get thrown. Nobody said anything. I didn't see like a streak of little white whatever, like maybe a RPG missile or some small little mortar or something like that had flown in and caused that little explosion. Even though it wasn't little, the corner of the Abrams about blew up totally. And the Bradley, not the Abrams, sorry. So it's like it takes you by surprise, just like it took them surprise in real life. I kid you not. This film executed that so well that you're just there, man. You are just there in that scene of what happened. It was crazy how everything went quiet again, and it was so dark as one of the Iraqi soldiers, because only the two Iraqi soldiers and three or four of the SEALs had actually started to make their move out to the in line out to the Abrams when the IED went off. Whatever that was, I guess we'll never know. Was it something under a rock? Was it something that was thrown at them? We don't know. Just some improvised explosive device that blew that one Iraqi soldier in half. You see this. Not that it happened. You see the aftermath of him dead and the one Iraqi soldier that's left coming to himself and kind of making himself shake it off as he slowly gets to himself and slowly gets up, and he looks over onto the ground and he sees his compatriot there, and he sees there's only about a third of him left above his chest area, and it's gory, and it's like part of a leg in the street and stuff. And he's just looking at it as he slowly rises to himself, and the dust starts to barely clear, and he just kind of gets to his feet, and he stumbles and staggers, and then he runs off through the dust. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I don't know what that's about. Is he just running away? Well, he comes back at the end of the film, I believe that was him. But for a while, he just kind of vanishes, and then the camera goes over to Sam as he's coming to himself. He's on the ground, this Navy SEAL looking down at himself, lying on the ground with the dust still covering, and the sound of the film is so good because it's like what they're hearing. That would blow out your eardrums, or at least damage it. You wouldn't be able to hear anything probably for a little while if it was right there on you when it happened and it knocked you over, knocked you down. He's saying, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my," and you could hear that same voice, "Oh my God," from inside of the building where the rest of the SEALs were. Some are knocked down, some are trying to figure out what just happened outside, and he looks at his leg. Sam looks at his leg and he realizes he's badly his leg's badly beaten up, not able to move, and it's then Ray Mendoza. I'm sorry, it's DeFaro Uate's character, and this guy is really really sharp and really memorable in this movie. He plays Ray Mendoza, and Ray Mendoza is the SEAL, I believe, who was the Iraqi war veteran who helped co-direct this movie, and it was a lot of his memories and one in particular, which before the whole situation popped off and the bad stuff happened, there's this scene where Elliot Miller had to get some relief. He had to stretch. He said, "Hey man, take over." So the other sniper takes over. I believe played by Taylor John Smith. I believe that was Frank took over for Elliot, and yeah, Elliot grabs some skull, gives himself a dip, and he's just stretching up against the wall. He gets to his feet just to walk for a minute instead of being in that sniper prone position for probably several hours. And he goes over to the threshold of this room, and he looks at Ray Mendoza's. He looks at Ray, just kind of squinting, just slightly. You think he's looking at something, and he is. He's looking at Ray, and Ray realizes that Elliot's looking at him, and so Ray looks back at Elliot, and Elliot looks back at Ray, and Ray looks back at Elliot, and Elliot's just got his brow kind of furrowed, just looking at Ray. He's just staring him down. He's just looking at him until Ray finally, what in the world? Ray just starts to smile a little bit, like, "Oh man, oh man," and then Elliot slowly backs into the room and goes back to his station. That kind of thing was just great in this movie. There are several things, those memories that they talk about at the start of the film in this movie sprinkled throughout, that it adds a richness to this film that very few movies have, really. And then after that, it was just a whole lot of when the IED went off and Ray drug Elliot. He grabbed a hold of him, and in the film, DeFaro Wati is a slightly smaller in stature and his build than Cosmos Jarvis is, and so you're right there with him as his face he's straining, as he's got the back of Elliot on the ground. Elliot, who was still unconscious, unresponsive, and you're thinking, man, this poor man is dead. That blast killed him, and Ray is just trying to get his body inside. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, that poor man is dead, and that soldier's dead. No, he wasn't dead. And when you're watching Ray drag this bigger man on the ground with all that kit he's wearing, dragging him into this building with the machine gun fire going off in the distance, some people probably shooting at him, jihadis on the roof, and all the rest of it, you're like, man, this stuff just got pretty intense, didn't it? By now, the dust is almost completely gone, and 3 different times in this movie they do something called a show of force, and it was such an interesting thing to see that they call in a show of force, and a jet would come like just a few meters off the ground, it looked like in the movie, and stir up so much dust that it would probably blow somebody off the roof. If somebody just been standing on the roof, yeah, that the jet wash, as they call it, I think, would have blown people off the roof, and it stirs up so much dust that it was just an intense thing to watch. This whole movie was just really intense, and I'll say this, it doesn't have, I'll say it again, like the grandeur of a major, huge production like something like Black Hawk Down, and telling that story with Sir what is his name? Why can't I Ridley Scott, something like that. But this film, to me, is still right up there next to it because of these little things and the quietness in between. There's something about it that was eerie, and again, it's not an overly long movie, so it doesn't become monotonous when you watch it. It doesn't become boring at all. I'm saying this in case you haven't given it a watch yet. I know I'm spoiling everything, but that's just what I do. I do warn you at the start of these videos, spoilers. But yeah, after that, it just got so intense with trying to get these 2 men stable, because Elliot was not dead. No. And when he comes to, and his legs are immobile and they're shot up, and he's begging for morphine and screaming, you're just like, you're almost, when you see his legs, you're almost wanting to scream with him as you watch the movie. Ray ends up putting pressure on Sam's legs, and someone else ended up seeing too. Elliot. Let me see if I can find who it was. I'm looking on IMDb right now, and this is another thing that was so interesting about this movie, to add details like this. I can't find the actor. He's not here on the page. Lieutenant McDonald. Is that him? No, that's not who I'm looking for. Yes, it is. Um, that's who. That's who got the med bag, and played by Michael Gandolfini. He goes to give Elliot some morphine, and accidentally, when he jabs it in him, he jabbed it in the wrong way. He jabbed himself in the thumb. So he's got a thumb full of morphine, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, what in the world is that going to do to somebody who doesn't need it? And my mom said on the way home when we watched it, she's like, I guess he's feeling pretty good now. But when that happened, I was like, dude, you did not just do that. There are several things in this movie, and it's not to cast bad light on Navy SEALs, not by a long shot, just the opposite. There are several things shown in this movie that show once you're shell shocked, like these men were after that. Well, actually, it was the first hit with Will Porter's character Eric, when he actually has to ask Jake, that's played by Charles Melton, you've got to run point, man. I can't do it. He's like, he knows he's been trying to radio stuff in, and he can't remember the name of the building he's in and stuff, and his mind is shaking because he's been shaken. This movie does an excellent job of showing what that's like for these men who have got these soldiers who have gone through that, and in the moment. Particularly another detail, like when Ray Mendoza, he's trying to think about what he's trying to do for these two men to keep them stable. He's trying to call in everything that Eric wants him to call in. He's hearing everything else going on the radio, and he's hearing everything going on inside of the room with people yelling at each other, and he's hearing what's going on in his own head. He can't take it anymore. There's too much. He unplugs his radio to shut it all down for a minute while he can just focus on Elliot. I'm sorry, Joseph Quinn's character Sam, because Sam's begging, you got to get him more morphine, man. It's not enough. Trust me. Just give me more. It's not enough. And Ray is telling him, look, you've got enough. You've got enough. You're not even the one I'm really worried about. He says he's worried about Elliot Miller, because Elliot Miller, when Ray was dragging him in off that street and his foot got kind of hung up on the doorway, the way it bent, it was almost like a sack of meat. Like there wasn't even a bone in there anymore. That's how it had like kind of a sickly bend to it. And the look on Ray's face when he saw that, he's like, I need help. He goes back inside, and he gets with Tommy, played by Kit Connor. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I need you. He realizes he's got to make this soldier who's not making himself useful in that moment. I need you. I need you. I need you to do this. And so he helps Ray get Elliot on into the building and out of the gunfire danger for the moment. And then later when Ray he's trying to radio something in and he's getting frustrated, like, why it's working? And then the look on his face, it was so good. He remembered he unplugged his radio, and now you see him trying to reach behind all this gear because these guys have so much gear on them, and so it's like Batman's utility belt times 10 on these Navy SEALs. He's trying to, I'm thinking somebody's just going to help him. Somebody's just going to grab it out of his hand. He can't see behind him, and they're going to plug it in the hole for him. But no, he eventually does it himself. Ray Mendoza, he finally gets his radio plugged back in so he can radio it in, whatever he was radioing in. And so many things like that. There must have been a dozen different things that typically you just get some director out of Hollywood that never would have put anything like that in. But a man who was there and who knows what it's like to deal with all this junk, all these little things are in there, and it adds a richness to this film that you're not going to see in maybe in any other war movie that I've seen. And again, you get to see what it's like from at least their memories, that vantage point of wanting to stay alive and just ask about your brothers, everybody doing all right, and how quiet it gets again. It's like again and again in this movie, things just kind of go quiet again. At least that's what it seemed like for me watching it. Just thinking, these guys, that was truly horrible. When Michael Gandolfini's character jabbed himself with the morphine, I'm like, dude, how did you just do that? Because that's what you do. You mess up when your nerves are rattled, when you're shell shocked, when and guys just coming in and right there into the room and accidentally knocking into these legs of their brothers in arms, their fellow SEALs who have been shot up, and somebody who hasn't been wounded saying, "Come on, man, come on, get up. You can get up now. You're a frog, man. You can do it." Yeah. And Ray's trying to calm the guy down, like, take a chill pill. Take a chill pill, man. It was just really, really interesting. And really, I'm not sure what else I can say besides all that. It was just a thoughtfully done thing. And in the end, they end up being relieved, well, sort of relieved by Jake's SEALs in what might be the only confirmed kill. And you're not even noticing it unless you're looking at it again and again. They do this overhead view with the overhead surveillance whatnot as they run reconnaissance. It's almost like a black and white image. You've seen it before, like the satellite aerial photo looking thing. The SEALs covering each other as they're walking, not running, not jogging, just kind of walking together, covering every possible angle from people shooting at them on roofs and windows and stuff. And you see somebody who was shooting at them collapse in the street, and you're like, well, I guess that was a jihadi or somebody trying to kill them, and they shot him. Nothing dramatic like that in this movie as far as deaths. Nobody died except for the one soldier, the Iraqi, one of the two Iraqi soldiers. He died, and other than that, nobody died. And you only see one like jihadi fighter get shot and kind of stagger out of view. But other than that, nobody died. In this film, none of the SEALs died. It was such an eerie, it's so eerie the way it all ends as they finally get two more Bradleys to come and get them. And as they get into the Bradleys, with having got cover fire from the Bradleys, blowing up the roofs basically of these two buildings, really the entire surrounding neighborhood, to keep these jihadis from getting right on them whenever they try to get into the street, to get into the vehicles, to get out of there. Because Jake wasn't having it. He wanted that extra support, that extra security, and he got it. And they all got into those things. The lids shut, and then it was quiet again. That eerie quiet returned to everything again as the Bradleys drove off, and you hear this ding, 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 ding from the jihadis shooting the vehicles, but can't get through that steel, all that armor. And then once the Bradleys went around the corner and out of sight, complete quiet in the street again. Complete quiet, just like at the start of the film when it all went black and you see the SEALs, the Navy SEALs walking through the alleyways and byways trying to get to this one building. Again, it was all in support of some Marine Corps operation, whether or not they were trying to get these two men and their families out of that house or what that was about, whatever it was. I guess we'll never know with 100% certainty, that is. All I know is that same stillness returned to the screen as was at the beginning. And that was it. That was the end of the movie. It started up with this little collage of photos of the actors who played the real life SEALs, and the real life SEALs on one side and the actors on the other, and also a couple of video clips of making the film. They made it in London, and these actors went through a 3-week military course on a military base, and to help them look the part. And really, with this Navy SEALs that you see inside of this room, go through all this for that hour and 20 minutes. It's like they look the part, they sound the part, but at the same time, this film does a good job of still cutting you down to size as far as once you've just been smacked down like by that IED explosion and something unexpected, something that has taken out two of your guys, and now all of your efforts are about trying to keep them alive and get the rest of your men out of there. Again, it's this eerie quietness and constant, okay, you got your corner covered. Are we secure upstairs? Watch your corners. You still got your kit. You still got this. You still got that. This the same. I can't explain it, and I know I'm not doing a good job of explaining it, but I hope you have some kind of idea of what I'm trying to convey here in this review. This film, this film is one of those that's going to haunt you probably, especially because of the way they start playing those photos at the end, and a very unique bit of music to go along with it. It's been almost 20 years since this happened, and you see Elliot Miller in that electric wheelchair go up to a man right in front of that street, and it's not a war zone anymore. It's the movie set now, and it's Ray Mendoza, real life Ray Mendoza, and he stops that electric wheelchair. Elliot Miller does, and he raises a big middle finger up to him, I guess, like maybe he used to. And you see some of these guys laughing and cutting up together a little bit as they greet each other, I guess, after not having seen each other in many years. And you see, it must be Ray showing a couple of the actors like, this is the way I remember it. There were two guys on the roof over here, and there was one over here. We're being shot at from this way and this way. And it's just eerie to look at them and have that music playing at the same time. And to see the photos of the real life soldiers, Marines and Navy SEALs and military personnel who were there, who went through these things, and how some of the photos are blurred out and some aren't. And you don't know why, although you suspect you know why. And are some of these even still with us today? Did some of them fall in battle? Did they die in the war? And it's just all kind of questions come to your mind as you're watching it. And it's eerie. It's an eerie movie. I'm glad I watched it. It is an excellent war movie in my humble estimation. And if you can see it in the movie theater, I hope that you see it in the movie theater. And with that, let me shut up. I've gone on way too long with this. Thank you so much for listening to me go on with this, folks. And now I think I'm going to go ahead and add my the recording of me and my mom talking about this crazy movie in our immediate reactions as we got out of the movie theater. Till next time, folks, thank you so much for listening to me, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care. All right. Chest cold time. It is what time?
9 o'clock now.
8:59 p.m. on the 14th of April, almost said March. We're just now leaving the Grand
Hattiesburg
Theater.
The Grand.
Too lazy to get out.
Don't call yourself lazy.
And it's laziness. Too lazy to get out and take an actual photo. I'll do one from earlier when it was still light out when we got here. 7 p.m. showing of Warfare. Just because something drew me into this the same way as back in the day. I said, you know what, I'm not going to watch Lone Survivor, the movie with Mr. Wahlberg. It's probably just going to be some propaganda, go join the military, hoorah, whatever. But I still went and watched it, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen Wahlberg in. But that falling down the cliff for 5 minutes, these guys are dead. I'm sorry. I know they wanted to exaggerate a little bit, but you would be pulverized by falling down that mountain that much. Anyways, that's not the movie we're talking about. Tonight we're talking about Warfare based off of a single situation
in, I forgot the name of the city in Iraq, 2006, almost 19 years ago now. A platoon of Navy SEALs are helping to support a Marine Corps operation, and we didn't really get the details of what that was, because this thing covers, this movie, as it says in the very beginning, is all just based on the memories of these soldiers. And that really is the redeeming thing. As I was walking out of the theater, I mean the theater inside, walking through the hall, Ramadi, oh that's a familiar name. What'd you think of it?
Very, very realistic. Those guns, whatever they were, very. The thing that they did with the show of force.
Yeah, that was very neat. They did that at least 3 times.
Because like when I worked in corrections, you would do your use of force when you're supposed to be allowed to do use of force on somebody. And the very first thing would be the show of force, like just showing your presence.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they're doing. They're not harming anybody actually, literally, but it's just causing this kind of like sonic boom kind of a thing.
Yeah, and it would give some cover, all that dust that was stirred up.
And it would also stop everybody in their tracks for a few minutes.
Yeah, because it was total.
I'm thinking.
Total lack of visibility there. That was a very neat thing. If you would ask me, okay, what is a show of force in this instance? What world does that mean? I wouldn't know. I would have known what in the world you were talking about.
Show them, but then the next level is actually doing something.
Yeah.
Saying something. Stop. Well, it was very intense, and it was good. You know, you got to slow and have their thoughts and all. But it was a little bit of slowness toward the beginning when they're, and you're thinking, I'm thinking, because I've never been in the military, I'm thinking, this is like what you do sometimes. You're just sitting,
Yeah.
you know, like the sniper, he's looking, but it's still, you know, nothing going on, minute after minute, hour after hour.
Yeah.
But you got to be alert.
And the movie makers make you see a little bit into. He just can't. I got a stretch, man. I gotta pee. And
What do you think?
when he stretches, and you can see it in his face, the actor's face, like, he's been there for hours in that prone
the one
position.
that took over for him that did not take out the guy
Yeah.
with the whichever kind of rifle. It's a long gun, some kind. And they called one person called him weak.
Weak.
And
Guy on the
he
radio.
called him weak.
Weak.
Now the IED, is it like
The IED is
like somebody? I know what IED is, but I'm like they can be deployed different ways.
improvised
like, so somebody,
explosive
shoot
device.
The IED out in them.
And that's the thing. I was like, okay, the startup of this thing just happened, but my mind had wandered, and it had wandered off for that 10 seconds or so because of the filmography, like the cinematography, how quiet and realistic everything is. And then when something suddenly happens, and they spend 5 minutes in this movie in this.
Yeah,
everything's
right.
darkness now.
Like if you're in a car wreck,
Yeah.
like when I had the one where I hit the deer and both my airbags deployed,
Yeah.
okay, it was night. And it's like, you know, the very first moment, I mean, besides the people, some of them were half dead, but you're in shock, and your senses, you don't know what's going on. So you have to take that slow. And plus they're in a cloud of dust because they're already had the powder, the smoke out, and then when the IED went off, that one guy, it was very realistic, but I'm also like, how in the world did he keep any of his legs? I'm like, when the one said, I'm gonna have to apply more pressure, because he's like, I guess he's feeling like he has to do it all his own or whatever, and the other guy's like, oh, we're going, because he wasn't able to get the cinch on there.
Yeah, the one guy, the sniper, the poor sniper's legs were just ragdoll, like pulverized. And
but he only lost one leg when it came to the real life thing at the end there.
Yeah, I thought he had. Oh, he had one of his legs.
He had one leg, I think, and he didn't have the other.
Okay.
I thought.
The sniper.
Watch it again.
The sniper.
Yeah, the sniper guy.
I was kind of annoyed at the end when they weren't showing us the names of these
The
brave
main
men, but at the
sniper
same time, my mom brought me back down to earth. Well, they were killing jihadists, David.
Yeah. And jihadists,
even
take note.
jihadists take note. Oh,
Even
you killed
20,
one of my
40
brothers.
years later.
Now I'm gonna
Yeah.
come and I'm gonna have to
Needs to
do something
stay.
bad to you. But some of the soldiers did show their face, and some of
Yeah.
them were flipping the bird like I don't care.
Well, they might also be like, you know,
Might not be in the military now. That might be this whatever situation. Just as a side tangent, the creator of Pigman, the comic book came to my mind as I was thinking about that.
is it Pigman or Pigman?
Pigman,
Pigman.
because it's got to be sacrilegious. Like
No, it's got to be.
the character
Against the
puts a
Muslim.
pig face over his face, a real life actual pig's face
It's
over
kinda
his
like
face.
in your face. big
Yeah,
face.
and pulverizes jihadis. What I liked about the film, but that I'm not going to say it annoyed me. It was just too realistic. It was like, that's the kind of stuff that would happen to me, I said. The guy getting caught on the doorway as he's trying to get the guy out.
mean,
And
yeah, just
the poor guy
But it
whose
was
nerves
only
are
like
so
a few
gone that he
seconds.
accidentally injected himself with the morphine.
He should have been feeling good.
That kind of stuff like happens. And it's like,
Well, I kept thinking.
There was lots of stuff
back
like
to the
that.
Movie, my take is the movie Navy SEALs, when the guy's badly injured, and the guy that played Slider or whatever on the Top Gun, he goes, "You're gonna love this, man." And it was.
you're going to love this,
I kept
Lieutenant.
thinking the whole time they were in there, they put tourniquets on it. I'm like, "Where's your morphine?
Yeah.
Where's your morphine?" And I'm like, is it only the sniper that had morphine on him? I mean, is he the medic or something? Like nobody else had, the kit.
And that was another thing about this film is supposed to be based completely on the memories, like
Right.
what happened then and then what happened then. There, like a quarter of the movie is them saying quick little one-liners, like "You got your thing on you? You got your? Are you ready? Are you okay? Are you? Call this in," and stuff like that, like a tit for tat, just one thing at a time, like it's actually happening, and it draws you into a kind of a like, I don't know, what do you call it, a hypnotic state or something, because when that first explosion happened, my mind was like, okay, we're going to go over
was just
here,
like, I'm
and now
watching
this
a
is going to
movie.
happen, nothing's happened so far, and then
What?
boom, I didn't even see if a missile hit it, or if it was, they say that so many thousands of the soldiers, particularly from Iraq, who are amputees now, is because of the IEDs, explosives left on the side of the road, and just all kinds of stuff.
But I was like, all of these people are dead.
Yeah, it's
it looked like the tank blew up.
yeah, it's like it hit the tank.
So they didn't want to come back again because of IEDs in the area or whatever.
That was
There's
that was
IEDs
that
everywhere.
was the thing that was bothering me. Okay, now the Abrams just drove off after the dust started to kind of settle. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, what was that about?
Just drove off.
Like, I'm outta
We're
here.
out of here.
And that one Iraqi soldier who was like a national helping the American forces.
Yeah, he
He's like, no, there were two of them.
Yeah.
And they showed the one who died at the end, and the other one, I'm not sure, maybe they did show him too. But it's like he ran off. It's like, okay, I'm done.
I don't know what.
But I think he showed up at the very end again with the relief, the new frogmen who had come on the ground to their location to give them some
I saw
help.
like they're all like SEALs or something. They kept calling them frogmen.
Yeah, and it's like,
Or New Orleans.
it's
No.
the whole movie, as far as a situation gone wrong, is all about that first IED explosion.
Yeah.
Because they had suspected we're being
I
watched.
think it was
we
told, it
we
said- I
got
was
mass
looking at
happening.
the-
They're trying coming to get us.
I was looking at the Wikipedia, and it says, or whatever, something about the movie a minute ago online, and it says that the one guy that had to put his knee on, that was really doing all the tourniquets and all
Yeah.
that, kind of like Hispanic looking guy, was he? I don't know.
Yeah.
It said that it was kind of like told from his point though too, and that's why usually in movies you see somebody, even though these don't have any big stars or anything, that is the like kind of cohesive, pulls a lot of it together, you know. And he is very, you know, he's not the only character, but he is an obvious, you know, main character.
Yeah, on the poster it says this is directed by the Iraqi war veteran who was there, and also directed by some movie maker guy. And I guess maybe he's
Yeah,
the
I
guy.
think-
I got to get these names
Yeah.
correct whenever I get home and finish up this review. It reminds me. It doesn't have, as far as movies go, war movies. It doesn't really have all the grandeur, say, of like Black Hawk Down, but it does put you right there in the situation of, okay, well, how having a sudden attack and casualties changes everything. Just like in that the Black Hawk Down incident in Mogadishu, this was another incident of the soldiers get hit, and then the whole situation is just about trying to get them out
Yeah.
and get your force out because you've been ambushed. And I tell you what, man, because I'm watching these movies at night, this has happened to me before, I'm probably going to end up dreaming about being in that room and just watching these soldiers tonight talking to each other like, are you okay? You got your smoke on you? Are you good? You got your kit? Are you loaded? All the stuff that they say, you learn.
And then again, remind each other.
You learn a lot of lingo watching these things. Anyway,
Got released on the 11th, it says.
what's that?
UK on the 18th. It was released on the 11th. Today's 14th, so Friday.
Yeah, except for a trailer for the film for before a few maybe PG-13 or R-rated movies. I haven't seen any marketing or anything for the movie, so I wanted to give it a watch just out of curiosity, because seeing the veterans, the actual veterans at the end, and the music they were playing, it was eerie at the very end. I mean, my mom said it's quite an experience, this movie.
It's only a movie.
It's only a model.
Not really here.
That one soldier, the sniper, I thought he was dead. When he was not, he was totally non-responsive. The way they did that in the movie, I thought he was just dead.
That's the sniper.
Yeah, he's the one who had been in that prone position all that time. And then when he woke up, when he became conscious, he was in just excruciating pain and saying, morphine, morphine, give me the morphine. Well, I guess we're going kind of quiet here. You got any closing thoughts?
It did what it needed to do. It gave you a segment of what it is to be that type of soldier when you're in that type of situation. You got the one that was the new guy, and you're always, new guy, he's green, whatever like that. But it's also like, in the movie, he kind of was like, reality hitting him, that I am actually.
Yeah.
Midst of all
He,
this.
and that was kind of appreciated in my mind, because when relief shows up, and now there's over twice as many soldiers holed up, and now they all got to figure out how to get out and call in air support and all this stuff. The one guy asked him, "Hey man, what was it? What happened?" And he's just like, "I don't know, man. I don't know what happened. I just want to get the F out of here." Is what he said. He's like, "Yeah, man."
You don't know, and he doesn't.
And there's some
Story in it.
soldiers stepping over each other and accidentally.
Some shock,
Yeah, big time. He
Part of what was going on with that leader guy.
he portrayed that well.
He was messed up and he couldn't
Yeah, he said
carry on, to get the orders and all. Because he'd already been kind of like, couldn't think when he was trying to tell him who he was, talking about what building and stuff, stuff that should have been like,
yeah,
just wrote in his mind by then.
because the grenade went off inside. Somebody just tossed the grenade right through the sniper hole. And in real life, just imagining for a second that there you are, a Navy SEAL. There's a dozen other SEALs around you. You're in a war zone, but you're also surrounded by these warriors, and you can call in air support supposedly, and then for somebody. They suspect these guys are slowly encroaching on them. That's what the sniper's looking at this whole while, like they're describing all the guys. And that was part of the boring monotony of the first 20 minutes. They're just taking notes about writing down the descriptions of all of the potential jihadis or whoever they're keeping a watch out for. And then all of a sudden, for somebody to get so close that they could toss a grenade right into your sniper hole, what that would do to your frame of mind at that point. Because at the end of the movie, the lieutenant or the NCOIC, I didn't get the ranks. I don't know Navy SEAL ranks, anyways. But we'll just say the commander of that group, the highest ranking of those SEALs, he made the call because he was suspicious of. He said, "You know what? None of our guys are up there." He just has the Bradleys shoot up the whole top half of the house.
Yeah, all the way around the block.
And in the movie, of course, you're seeing that, oh yeah, there are guys on the roof that were shooting. Yeah, the Bradley fighting vehicle with the 50 cal
tank
on top of it. And that you see this Iraqi lady, she's part of the family, and that's what I'm confused about as far as what their mission was, because I thought, oh, they're trying to get these two men out. They suspect them of knowing something that could help them with a war or something. I don't know. They're trying to apprehend somebody. The only information you get at the beginning is that it's in support of a Marine Corps operation. And then when he gives the call to have this is at the end of the movie, when the Bradleys are shooting up the whole top of the house, killing anybody who was a threat to him up there and had been shooting at him this whole while. She's screaming, why? And by that point, you're like,
we don't know why.
Because there is no other way. Sorry. I want to survive. And so they did survive. In the end, they were able to get to their vehicles safely.
Yeah, the family was hurt.
And
wasn't hurt. Nobody was hurt.
Yeah, nobody was even hurt in that. And one thing that kind of bothered me at the end was this is supposed to be all from these soldiers' memories, and yet at the end it goes all quiet after the Bradleys have rounded the corner and all the Americans are gone and the family's slowly creeping out of the doorway, and the father's saying, come, it's okay. They're all gone. Everything's okay. Trust me, it's all over now. They gradually go outside.
The beginning is they had to go through a wall, so they didn't have access from. It was like two. They asked them. They said there's a 2 apartment, and they came through that wall to get into that part. I don't know if that was to.
Yeah.
Because maybe their front door faced the enemy they were trying to avoid, or.
I wonder if just taking that building, that house, was just something that was, like, as far as this location, was something that was crucially needed for an operation or something, because I'm still unclear as to what they were doing in that particular building.
The little white dots walking and stuff like that. They started talking at the end about how they were, like the ones that were coming toward them, they were friendlies, compatriots. But then I was like, well, who's who? Talking about the roofs and
yeah.
All that's hard to
that's something that you watch these movies, and you can't help but think in real life, like, I can't even work on a construction site without getting frustrated by the noise.
Yeah.
People are yelling at you, and you got to wear hearing protection to protect your own ears, so I can't hear them, and so I'm always going, what? Huh? What? And in this war zone, you're expected to decipher all these people in a half a second and shoot only the ones you're supposed to shoot. I'm
I
like,
kept saying, this is going to be friendly fire.
yeah, I don't want to be ever lured near any of this kind of thing ever. And the thing that bothered me was at the end, there would have been no soldier there present to describe the scene of the jihadis slowly emerging from the different buildings. Like, it's all over now, and the Americans have fled, and it's like, but it's just something they wanted to put in the movie. And I'm just looking around at the way the Bradleys had just lit up pretty much all the buildings around the house to eliminate any threat before they finally made their move. And I just thought to myself, this is it. This is warfare.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen that's going to end up requiring you to just destroy much of the country or whatever that you've gone into just to make it back out alive. They got that, they ran that point home at the very end, and that the quietness of everybody who's still alive, and enemy soldiers in this case, slowly coming out into the streets. No music, no sound, all just silent. It's pretty good. It's been 20 years almost, 2006, so
Yeah, 19 years.
to see that soldier in that electric wheelchair was really something.
Yeah.
I wonder where they filmed this. I'm going to have to look this up when I get home,
Yeah. I'll look at some of it.
because it looked very, very Middle Eastern stylish. Maybe they were in Iraq. I don't know. That's doubtful, but I keep asking you, are we all done yet? But there's always something else we can talk about.
Yeah. This was done at the primarily Bovington Airfield near Chesham, Herts, outside of London.
Huh.
Cast underwent a rigorous boot camp to prepare for the physically demanding roles.
Yeah, the only actors that I recognize in this movie were, I forget his name, Quinn. Joseph Quinn? I don't know. Quinn.
What version
Who?
of the movie did you say it was in?
Was in, I liked him in A Quiet Place, Day One.
What does he play on that?
He's the guy who he hung out with her and he wouldn't really leave her. Lupita Nyong'o's character helped her realize life is worth living, basically, and helped her find some peace before she died. Yeah,
What's that first one still?
yeah, still never saw the first Quiet Place movie. And the only other actor I recognized was that lieutenant guy. He was in a movie that I saw last night, and boy, oh boy, I was telling my mom as we walked out, he was such a card. It was Death of a Unicorn. I watched Death of a Unicorn last night, and he was such a card, a crazy character in that movie. And then today I watch him, and he's a Navy SEAL leader.
Only 31 years old.
Okay, I guess we're all done.